Imagine for a moment that you have no martial arts training, none. Take everything you've learned, every drill, every sparring session, every technique, and throw it away. Strip yourself of all your physical training. Now walk into a room full of people. How do you feel? Vulnerable, uncertain, a little insecure. That feeling, that slight discomfort gnawing at the back of your mind, that is how regular people feel every single day. They walk through life completely unskilled, unprepared for the chaos that might come their way. And whether they want to admit it or not, there's an underlying fear, an uncertainty about what they would do if things went sideways. That's what separates trained individuals from the average person. Training eliminates the unknown. Training instills confidence, not because you're looking for a fight, but because you know you can handle one if it comes to you. Self-defense isn't a luxury. It's not some niche skill for fighters or law enforcement. It's a necessity, a fundamental part of being a capable human being. People prepare for so many things: saving money for emergencies, learning first aid, studying for careers. But the one thing most never prepare for is their own survival. Because the truth is, the world doesn't care about your excuses. Violence doesn't wait for you to be ready. The predator doesn't check your schedule. You either have the skills to handle yourself or you don't. And if you don't, you're gambling with something you can't afford to lose: your safety, your life, and the lives of the people who rely on you. Weakness invites predation. This has been true since the beginning of time. The weak are eaten by the strong, whether it's in the wild or in the streets. You don't have to be looking for trouble to find you. You don't have to provoke violence to have it thrust upon you. And when that moment comes, when the pressure is on and you have seconds to react, your preparation or lack of it will decide your fate. This is why skill acquisition isn't optional. It's why the ability to defend yourself is a foundation, not a footnote of manhood. You walk differently when you know you can handle yourself. You think differently. You are different. And the world reacts accordingly. Predators sense confidence. They sense fear. They target those who hesitate, those who avert their eyes, those who shrink in the presence of confrontation. If you're walking through life unsure of yourself, unsure of how you'd react when cornered, then you're already at a disadvantage. Martial arts, combat training, situational awareness, these things aren't just about throwing punches and kicks. They're about rewiring your entire mindset. A trained man doesn't just react. He preempts. He spots the danger before it unfolds. He positions himself in ways that mitigate threats before they materialize. He doesn't just hope nothing happens. He knows he's ready if it does. But most people won't train. Most people will continue to walk through life unarmed, unprepared, and vulnerable. They will convince themselves that violence is something that happens to other people, that their neighborhood is safe, that they'll never need to fight, until the day they do. And on that day, they'll realize too late that wishful thinking doesn't stop an attack, that their belief in good vibes won't stop a fist from breaking their jaw, that the world is not a safe, sanitized place, and reality doesn't give second chances. This is why mental resilience is just as important as physical training. A man who has never been tested under pressure doesn't know himself. He doesn't know what happens when adrenaline floods his veins, when his heart pounds in his chest, when fear threatens to seize his limbs and render him motionless. Fighting isn't just about technique. It's about breaking past the mental barriers that keep weak men frozen in moments of danger. It's about conditioning yourself to act when others hesitate. Some will say, "But I'll call the police." That's the logic of a man who doesn't understand reality. The police are reactive. They arrive after the fact. They file reports. They investigate. They don't stop what's already happening to you. That responsibility falls on you. If you're waiting for help in the moment of crisis, you're already finished. The truth is, most people have never even thought about how they would handle a violent encounter. They've never visualized a scenario, never put themselves in that situation mentally. And because they haven't prepared mentally, they freeze physically. They fall apart. They lose before the fight has even begun. There is no shortcut to preparedness. There is no substitute for training. You either put in the time, or you suffer the consequences of not doing so. And make no mistake, there will be consequences. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But when the time comes, when you're face to face with a threat, when you feel that cold realization creeping up your spine, that you don't know what to do, that you're completely at the mercy of another person, that's when you'll understand. That's when you'll regret every day you spent believing it wouldn't happen to you. The men who train, who condition their minds and bodies, who embrace the uncomfortable reality of violence and prepare for it, those men walk differently. They carry themselves with quiet confidence, not arrogance, but certainty. They don't puff out their chests. They don't need to, because they know. They know that if the moment comes, they are ready. You've seen it before, even if you didn't recognize it at the time. A room full of men, and one of them just moves differently. He doesn't have to posture, doesn't have to prove anything, because his presence commands respect without a word. That's the result of training, of discipline, of putting in the hours while others slept. That's the difference between someone who walks through life prepared and someone who hopes luck is on his side. And in a world where men are being weakened on purpose, where softness is being sold as virtue, being a capable man is an act of rebellion. So I'll ask you again, are you walking through life as prey, or are you training to become the predator?